Hello everyone, welcome to Wicked West Books. My name is Meg.
I'm Lee.
And today is our first buddy read discussion for the year, and hopefully we keep doing them from this point on.
We're gonna try.
We've done this once before, so today we are talking about the Malice Darkblade Volume 1. The book name was Daemon's Curse?
Yep, the Daemon's Curse.
The very first Warhammer book that I have ever read, and I wish I had known that this physical copy existed in our apartment when I had started the book.
Really? Why?
Because a lot of the new words I had no clue how to spell.
Okay, fair.
Uh-huh.
I mean, there is a lot.
That was the whole reason I went to the wiki, was just so that I could see how words were spelled versus pronounced.
You didn't know how to spell Drukari?
Drukari? Oh,
or not Drukari,
I was going to say Druki.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
Druki.
No.
I'm reading 40k at the same time, so Drukari and Druki, kind of the same thing, but different words.
Did I expect Druki to be spelled D-R-U-C-C-I-I? No. No, absolutely I did not. Of course, it was more the sister whose name was Negara. Spelled with an N, not an M, like Megara normally is. So.
No, it was supposed to be Negara.
Yeah, no, but listening to the audiobook, I could not tell if it was an M or an N.
Oh, fair.
You want to give a brief summarization of what the book plot is, non-spoilered?
So, Malice Darkblade is returning to his home with a group of slaves. Things happen, and he has to fear for his life from his investors, his family, and other outside elements, which spurs him to actually want to go, or to have to leave the city and go on an adventure.
He gets some kind of artifact, and he knows that there's going to be power if he can figure out where the artifact came from, so he tries to trace it back to where he found it. This was his choice, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, never read any Warhammer. It's not my preferred RPG world.
Fair.
Is it yours? Overall?
That's hard to say. I have a lot of favorites.
What would your favorite RPG world be?
For the D&D ones, I'm more of a homebrew fan, honestly.
Mm.
Other role-playing games would be like Call of Cthulhu. I love that environment.
I want to say book-wise.
Book-wise.
For role-playing games.
Dresden Files. There is one out there, which I haven't got a chance to read.
You've got it on the shelf over there.
Yeah. I think you would hate that one, though.
Why?
You just don't like Dresden.
Nah. I loved the show.
I know you did, which is really weird you didn't like the books.
So one thing that is kind of surprising before we get into the spoilery bits of our discussion with this is that he actually rated it lower than I did.
To be fair, I love the Warhammer world, especially the old world. I'm not the biggest fan of the Dark Elves. I just never have been.
I believe I gave it a solid 4-star rating, and yours ended up to be a 3.5?
3.5, but I'm pretty sure that was just based off the...
I don't know. It was a 7 before I moved it down to a 6.5, and that didn't change my rating, so I don't know.
It might have been, mine might have just barely been on the cusp.
It could have been. We were using G from Book Roast's Cawpile system of rating, where we rate the characters' atmosphere, writing, plot, intrigue, logic, and enjoyment of the book. His came out just a smidgen lower. I like using the rating system because I would have absolutely rated that book more like a 3-star read for me if I was rating it just based off of my reading preferences versus using the formula, which takes a couple of things like out of my control to give it a more fair rating, I think.
Yeah, I can agree to that.
Why did you pick this book for our buddy read?
To be honest, I could have picked the Go Trek and Felix novels, but you've read the synopsis on those, and we're just like, absolutely not. Yeah, I think it would have been a better entry point for you, honestly. The writing's better.
I mean, to be fair, I didn't hate this.
Oh, I know. I just think you would have probably liked it. It's a little bit more on the humorous side. And just different environment, different perspective on things.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the weird things. This book, one of the things I think it did not do well was put across that it's cold in the whole book.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't do, like, any kind... Like, I was picturing it in a desert. Like, a hot sand desert the entire time.
Instead of the Chaos Waste, theoretically it could be hot in spots there, just because of the nature of it.
Chaos. But
yeah.
No, yeah, but, like, you can see that it's mostly white, and I think there's even some bits of snow coming across here.
Yeah, I mean...
It's supposed to be, like, icy, and I actually really enjoy that as, like, a climate, because I just got done reading Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies, and it takes place in a small island off of Norway, and they are dealing with, like, ice everywhere, and I absolutely loved the setting for that.
Well, I mean, it could be the time of year, too. If you look at the Warhammer map, Nagaroth is supposed to be North America.
Okay.
So it could have just been the time of year that they're there. I admit, as they went further north, it should have turned probably into ice and snow for a while at least. And I think they did mention that a little bit whenever they were in the mountains.
Every time they mentioned it, my brain just automatically forgot it and turned it back into desert. It just suited, to me, a desert adventure better than a snow desert adventure, because the tundra is also a desert of sorts.
I'm probably going to have to get you to read the Go Trek and Felix novels, or at least see if you'd like them, because it's a lot more varied landscapes. I think you'd like that.
Maybe, but it wasn't so much the landscape that was it for me. It was, I didn't like the main character.
To be fair, Malice is kind of an ass.
I don't know. I loved all of the supporting characters, and spoilery time, they're all dead.
Yeah. Even whenever you think, oh, he's going to go on with them, that lasted for like 3 seconds, and then it was like, sword in the head.
Hi, bud.
Hey, Oscar. Oh.
Boy.
So this is Oscar. He's my buddy.
Good boy.
Yeah. He loves scratches.
Yeah, I really I finished the book a little bit before you.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that he had a girlfriend.
To be fair, in any other race of people, there probably would have been some romantic tension.
Well, the names were hard to keep clear, not because, like, they were weird, which, I mean, it's elves, so, but, like, I don't know, I didn't care about them enough to learn their names.
Fair.
Even though I liked them better than the main character.
It was more that they felt like they were expendable throughout the book, I think. Just because the nature of it, you were like, oh, any of these people could die at any time. Minus probably Malice, because he's the main character,
Yeah.
and there's 6 books in the series, so...
And I also got spoiled when I went on the wiki and know that I know what happens, basically.
Well, no spoilers to me, because I haven't finished it.
Overall.
I got an idea of what's going to happen. I just don't know how it's quite going to end, so... He does have a rideable dinosaur, though. He has a Yoshi, basically, named Spite.
Yoshi.
If Yoshi was a terrible Warhammer monster.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, you ride it like Yoshi, but Yoshi invokes a picture of cuteness and happiness. So you know one of my biggest pet peeves with this book? You can turn it into a drinking game.
Highborn.
Noble. Is it highborn or nobleborn?
I think it's both. I think Highborn would be regular elves and Dargon.
I've got it written down as nobleborn.
I think he might have mentioned himself as a highborn son a couple of times, and maybe that's why I'm mixing it up.
Maybe.
So, we'll also mention this. It is a very graphic book in places.
I wasn't bothered.
Okay. Well, I mean, whenever it starts off, it doesn't get into the scenes of torture, but it's heavily left to your
Okay, so the
imagination.
torture, and then they have slaves. That's a big part throughout the book, is that they keep looking at people like, I want to make you my slave. But you warned me on this, like I was going to be offended with it, as if in the prologue of Drizzt, a guy doesn't rip out someone's tongue with a whip.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, it's not someone's loved one being tortured to death and skinned alive, and then they're showing them the face.
This is true. There was definitely torture in it, but not enough to bother me as far as, reading fiction about it. Mentioning the drow from the Forgotten Realms, I had the very much feeling that one of the differences between these dark elves and the drow was that this is a very, masculine kind of violence. More like smash, kind of brute forcey, whereas the drow, which are led by a goddess and is a matriarchal society, is a much more feminine kind of violence. It's a lot more plotted, planned out, more knife in the back than smash you in the face kind of violence.
The Druchii like what they like. A lot of them are... Now, I'm not an expert on Druchii, But I know a lot of them follow Slanesh for the most part, which is the Prince of Pleasure of all sorts, so he is everything.
Most of them was Mother of Death in this book, is what they kept saying.
There is. There's a lot of different names for different things. They could be talking about Morathi, who is the mother of the current king, and she has her own cult that's pretty messed up.
The cult of, because they were in a like tower or something for a cult of the dead or something like that. I don't remember. It was at the beginning.
Yeah. I think it's the murder cult in that one.
I think something like that. Yeah.
And I think she would be technically the head of it. I need to do more research into Druki.
The map has north this way.
Yeah.
You gotta hold the book sideways to get the actual map. So what was your favorite part of?
Honestly, I did like seeing how the society was functioning around him, especially whenever he had to engage with his family and go through that whole intrigue process of trying to get ahead and figure out who he could kind of trust. Yeah, just don't trust the Dark Elves.
Never trust the Dark Elves, no matter what brand they are, because that's kind of their point.
Well, I mean, you might be able to trust Dritz a little bit.
Dritz you can trust, but Dritz is also marked with purple eyes, which is not something that none of the other drow have, so he's more easily recognizable as Dritz.
I did like some of the tombs they went into and stuff. I thought some of that was interesting.
I liked the scene with the willow.
The willow was really cool.
That was a really smart way that he got out of the willow, and then to promise her as much as she could eat going on, saying when he got back that there was so much gold down there that it could make you super rich, so that people will constantly be trying to get that treasure, so that the willow tree can keep eating people. I thought that was really clever.
Yeah, I did like their interactions with like the Bray Shaman and stuff like that. Seeing the two groups come together. It worked in the book. However, I'm pretty sure if it was any other group of beastmen that wasn't led by like a semi-intelligent character, they probably would have just tried to butcher him instantly. I liked everything pretty well overall. I don't have anything that I just outright hated about the book.
My worst thing was the drinking game.
I know.
My eyes hurt from rolling it after every time it was said.
Are you looking forward to the next one? Or is it a DNF for you?
Unless you force me to read more, I'm gonna DNF the series. It's not... I mean, I know you're going to pick, for your next month, you're looking at another Warhammer novel to try and keep me in the world and maybe find the niche that I would fit into Warhammer, but...
Well, that's going to be the 40k. It's not going to be the fantasy world.
Still, you're still looking for the niche so that you can get me into this world.
Well, if you don't like the 40k, we'll probably try Go Trek and Feel It's the first book and just see if you like it.
So this year he's going to just keep battering me with a Warhammer and see if I finally fall in love with it.
No.
Trying to Stockholm me to the Warhammer.
I would be nice to have you maybe eventually decide to play an army against me. No. Okay.
I have zero interest in any kind of... Like, the role-playing for D&D is an individualized kind of play. Moving armies around has never been interesting to me.
But, yeah. So this would be the one that I'm going to try to get her to read if she doesn't like the 40k.
Blech.
If you halfway like Dark Blade, you'll probably like Go Trek and Feel It. You'll probably like Go Trek and Feel It. It's basically a buddy cop comedy.
I'm not actually looking forward to it.
No. If you absolutely hate it whenever you start reading, we'll find something else.
Well, except that we're announcing what we're reading now, and once it's announced, it can't change. That's kind of the point. Is part of this conversation is that at the end of it, we tell them what we're reading next month, so that they can read it too.
Oh, okay.
Kind of a book club, unofficial.
Oh, an unofficial book club. We'll have to put a link in for that one, for Audible at least.
So that's going to be it for January.
Yeah, I don't have anything really else to add. We both talked about what we liked about it.
It was fine.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it, I think, more than you did, which is weird because of the ratings.
Because your rating is a little bit lower.
I think the algorithm's a little off there.
It averages it together. No, I think what we're doing is that your enjoyment rating was high, so you think it should be higher, and my enjoyment rating was at mid, about where my thing of it is. But I like the compile and using it because it seems a little less just our opinion about the book. So just because I didn't like the book very much doesn't mean I'm going to rate it like 2 stars and move on. with life, I think it's a little bit more fair to the book to include things like the plot and the characters and the writing style and the atmosphere and all of the rest of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Like I said, I'll probably keep going, but
Oh, I know you'll keep going.
I like the world enough that even if the first book's a little lesser than the rest of it, I'll probably still keep going in the series.
Yeah. I could take or leave the series from now on, and it's not going to be one that I'm going to be looking at continuing actively.
So, what are you planning on making me read next month?
I'm going to make you read this whole thing, all of it, all 5 stories.
I could probably do that in a month.
So this is The Cleric Quintet by R.A. Salvatore, and I'm going to make him read, obviously, only the first book in the omnibus. I have the audiobooks for them, bought them just last month.
Yeah, it was a
December.
good sale.
But these were the first R.A. Salvatore books that I ever read. I got this omnibus from a friend who got it from her sister, so, you know, it's seen some distance. And it's got, like I said, 5 books, quintet. And we will be reading Canticle by R.A. Salvatore.
I like the illustrations. They're very old school.
It's a very old school.
Now, was this written before or after the Dritz stuff had started?
It looks like middle. It says the foreword, which I have it open to, says we were done with Dritz, or at least we thought we were. After the Dark Elf trilogy, bringing the novels featuring Dritz and his friends to 6, the editors at TSR. This is a old collector's edition. I got this back when I was in middle school, high school. It's older than 2010 at least, but it is a story about a cleric and a monk. They are at a temple in some mountains, to my memory anyway. So yeah, these books were written after the first 6 of Dritz before they go back to it.
It'd be a nice palate cleanser for me, probably.
It's a different role-playing world, and it's not... you've read this role-playing world, but you read with the Dark Elves, and this is going to be humans.
Yeah.
Of course, if you read long enough in the Dark Elves series, they do actually meet the characters from this book.
Oh, that's cool.
And they go up into the mountains and after the events of these books. So it's only this much of the book. I will then read the rest of the quintet, probably, because it's been so long. I think since I got this book.
So are you going to make me read all of them this year? Or
Probably not.
Probably not,
If
huh?
you like the first one and decide to keep going, good for you. If you don't, no, probably not. I will read all 5 books. Probably in a row, because one of the things I want to do this year is finish some series that have been staggering in my back.
Yeah, I have the same problem.
I don't really want to restart a new series and stop in the middle of it again.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm doing this year with mine. I'm going to try to do the first 12 books of the Horus Heresy this year. We're going to see how that goes. I'm in book 1 right now. I might use those as a palate cleanser between, just so I'm not in the sci-fi world the whole time.
I like fantasy better than sci-fi anyway.
I mean, it makes sense for you. Okay.
Like the little druid on the tail of the dragon.
That's fun.
I am not, however, affiliated with Audible and will not make any money off of you clicking my link. So
Yeah.
go at that however you want. Video, you looking forward to The Cleric?
I'm a little nervous about it, but I'll give it a shot.
But yeah, I think that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave a thumbs up. If you have read the Dark Blade series, any of them, feel free to comment down below what you thought about the books. Any discussions that you want to have, I am completely open to.
Yeah, sounds like fun.
And that's going to be it for this video. Have a wicked day.
Bye.